What's up, YouTube? What's up, Xtreme Gainz family? I'm Chuck, and I'm running late. And this is Xtreme Gainz. I am not a financial advisor. Nothing I say is or ever will be financial advice. Please do not take it as such. Today is Wednesday, May 11th, 2022, and this is the AMC, GME, and SPY Algo Exposed Daily Update and Preparation video for tomorrow and beyond. As always, as I always say, because it's my only wish for you to win, I hope you took advantage of this crazy downside again today and volatility in this market event, in my opinion, that we are experiencing, and we're able to cash out and make some money for yourselves. Crazy day again. Like I said, everything was down across the board. Everything is red, heavy red all over the place. So I hope you were able to do that. I'm going to go over the regulars. I'm going to be brief though. I'm not going to give a whole bunch of explanation. I'm going to show you the intraday or intra-week snakes that I am looking at potentially moving forward. I'm going to show you the macro comparatives that I am looking at, and I'm going to show you the intraday snakes that were used and projected and fulfilled today on AMC and SPY. So with all of that said, let's dig in. On your screen, on your left is AMC, on your right is SPY. These are the micro intraday snakes from my micro intraday snake algo method laid on here. They were AMC here was one piece. Now it wasn't as precise as far as being candle for candle throughout the entire thing. However, it did project and fulfill, and it was candle for candle at times throughout the day, but the projection and fulfillment was on. And AMC finished the day down 12.42% at $10.37. And I hate that TradingView doesn't show that. Give me 1 second. We are currently down in after hours 0.19% on AMC at $10.35 currently. So that was another day in the books of projection and fulfillment, spot on from my intraday micro snake algo. SPY's micro intraday is right here. SPY's was a two-piece. The first piece gave projection and fulfillment throughout almost the entire day. I saw the diversion coming, called it in real time in the live stream, and showed those who are in here how I do that and what I thought would potentially be coming next. And that is what happened. It was more precise, almost a candle for candle projection and fulfillment from this today. Again, real time in real time live fulfillment after positioning and placement of them. So pretty cool. SPY ended the day today down 1.59% at 392.75, and in after hours ended green 0.28 at 393.86. All right, let's go back to AMC. I want to show you the intra-week snakes that I am currently looking at. There are two possibilities dependent upon the extension that I use on this, and that will dictate that essentially, but I'm going to throw them both on here because it almost doesn't matter. This was the one that I had on here in last night's video that has led down from the previous one after the diversion of the previous one that we did not get the swoop to the upside. I clipped this 4 days ago and have been getting projection and fulfillment, or I guess, yeah, 4 days ago I clipped it. We have been getting projection and fulfillment from it since. As of last night's video, we were sitting right here with it. The projection and fulfillment from up here, from last night's video till tonight's video, was as you see it, 100% projection and fulfillment, literally candle for candle to the downside today, covering this almost 15% downside projection and fulfillment for AMC. Its current projection in the placement that it is in is as you see it. It does appear to indicate that it's going to expire by the end of day tomorrow if it continues to fulfill throughout its expiry and it does not divert prior to then. that would be the expectation from it, obviously. Then if it were to potentially divert from that, and I were to go back, take this out, extend this down like I talked about potentially, and then use this one, because today, Wednesday, is the day that these snakes have been interchanging for, I believe, the last 6, if I'm not mistaken, have interchanged, diverted, and or fulfilled until expiry on Wednesdays. Today is Wednesday. So if I were to do that and use it in that same methodology that it has been doing in the past few, then this would be the clip from today, overlapped into yesterday, all of yesterday, all of after hours, all of pre-market, all of today, for an overlap that gives candle for candle literal projection and fulfillment with the overlap, and there would be the projection from it moving forward. Obviously, continuation to downside. You can see the levels there that it is potentially indicating in that position. With both of them on here, like so, you can see what it may look like looking at them both. That's what I'm looking at for AMC's intra-week snakes. The macro comparative, I'm still using the same one. It is the macro double from the macro descending wedge prior to the January 2021 run-up. I've had this on here what seems like forever. And here we are in that. As of last night, the indication for projection from it was a continuation to downside, and it did outrun this a little bit here to the downside from where I had it essentially last night. However, I do believe it is still intact, no matter how you want to look at it. I'm looking up here to see the overlap of projection fulfillment from it. And no matter how you want to place it, it is still intact in my opinion. Now, obviously, I don't want to see a whole bunch of continuation downside from this for this to completely stay intact the way it is right now and it not be a ridiculous manipulation of this macro comparative to fit any kind of bias, which I try really, really hard not to do. If it were to go downside a little bit more and then start its move back to the upside, that would be great. And or if it were already here in its bottom and maybe the short term and then start right a little quicker, anything in that kind of formation. Again, this is the 4-hour chart macro, so this isn't all going to happen in a day or even 2 for that matter. But if it were, I'm fine with that. I would make the adjustments as necessary, but I do think I wanted you to see this. I do think, and I want you to see the whole thing as well. With that, I do think it has maintained its integrity of the previous projection and fulfillment of historical price movement in its entirety, with it still being potentially intact there at these levels. So that's AMC. GME, this was the snake I've had on here for GME for, I believe, the last week, maybe even a little more than a week. And the indication from it was downside. Today, I had it last night sitting right there. And again, this outran this a little bit to the downside here. However, I do believe it's still intact and has potential to continue fulfilling. Obviously, the indication from it is this V-shaped recovery and a heavy bounce back up out of here in its entirety. What appears to be tomorrow morning until right here. So the consolidation of the move up, this first leg and step up would be in this position would be tomorrow's projection from that snake. If it were to divert in any way, shape, or form, it's already got a week plus fulfillment out of its previous projection, then I would clip a new one when and if it does that. Then I got to looking this morning at the previous double over here in this giant macro box top schematic, and double forming here that I've been talking about and projecting with my box top charting method for quite some time now. And I thought that that bottom looked potentially familiar over here in an inverted, maybe in an inverted mirrored manner. And I wanted to see what that looked like and if it had any kind of replication of movement coming down into this bottom. And it definitely does. Now, there's not much there. Obviously, this is a parabolic from the other side, and this is not. But the bottom is starting to potentially look like what this bottom would in this inverted mirrored state. Now, if that were on there, that is essentially what that would potentially end up looking like. Obviously, if it would fulfill in its entirety, which is quite a ways away, but nonetheless, I'm hoping and anticipating to get this double bottom in here, this giant double like this, and this not become that large checkup and continuation to downside like I talked about in last night's video. So this is a macro comparative that I am currently looking at to see what it may or may not show or portray on its way down. I also want to look at it in its straight up comparative way. And it also gives and lends itself to potential projection and fulfillment. Obviously, that hard V recovery upside move from the current snake would be essentially what that would show. I'm sorry, right there it is. Up out of there. And that, or that's not it, right here. Yeah, this is it. My bad. Right here would be the V-shaped recovery that would run and lend itself to this macro comparative in the straight up positioning. And this is what the zoomed out perception of that, or perspective of that double bottom would be. That's GME. SPY. The macro comparative for SPY is the red. It's from the 08-09 correction and crash in what I've called the extended version. And I've talked to you all last night about the possibility of this thing, which I've called the cliff after the dead cat bounce, being in a compressed manner, because I had recognized after conversation with some Discord members these candles here that were essentially replicating these candles here. Having a hard time talking. And if that were the case, could that be compressed and maintain the integrity of the historical projection and fulfillment? And it does. And that would indicate that we are in a market event right now, and we are in literally the middle of a replication of this crash, if that were to be the case. I did not move this there. I just want to show you what it looks like, because the snake actually shows the same thing here, so there was no need to have them both there. If this were to be the case, the projection from this moving forward is obviously continuation to downside, and quite a heavy move to the downside. So I think it'll be very, very, very apparent if that's the case. Now, looking at it in the position that I've had it in for quite some time, that has led, projected, and fulfilled from way back before I even started streaming here on YouTube. In this position right here, I've talked about it. I've wanting it up. I'm sorry, right there. Talked about it, wanting to see it make a move. And again, real quick, this has never been a candle for candle. This has just been a suggested projected path throughout its entirety. I can hate zooming in and zooming out, but look, suggested projected path that it has followed, not candle for candle. Looking at it with a zoomed out, generalized perspective of the macro movements. So if that were the case, the expectation would be I'd want to see a move to the upside start somehow here, so it could start forming this round top cliff before the cliff, the hillside, the round top, the mountain, whatever you want to call it. But I'd want to see a move to the upside and see that structure-like movement made to some extent. So obviously that would require a move to the upside for that to happen in that position. The current snake, the intra-week snake. I've had 3 snake. This is the 3rd snake now that I have went live with on SPY, and they have been damn near spot on. The first one was a little over 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks of projection and fulfillment. The second one was a month of projection and fulfillment, and now this is the third one, and it's been going for quite a minute now too. Looking at it, it did fulfill itself today in its entirety. The projection from it last night was continuation to downside right there, up, right there in that manner, and that is what it gave to the downside in its fulfillment. Moving forward here into tomorrow, the projection or a possible potential projection from it appears to be maybe some downside consolidation for this step out before the next leg down. If I have this in its position correctly, thus far I have, and it has continued to fulfill its projection. So looking at that on the 1 hour chart, it looks like some volatility the next couple days. Realistically, it looks like it may close out the week according to this in that position, running some consolidative volatility, midline consolidation throughout the rest of the week prior to the next leg down. And again, that's if I have it in the proper place, sitting as you see it. So that is everything I have tonight for AMC, GME, and SPY, and what I am personally looking at. Thank you all if you made it to the end of the video. You already know, do y'all's thing. I would greatly appreciate it with the interaction on the video. Quick reminder, I will not be live here tomorrow morning unless things were to go heavy to the upside or catastrophic to the downside like we saw today. We would all come out here from my premium Discord private live stream and live stream together out here on YouTube and Twitch like we have done in the past. If not, and it's a run-of-the-mill day, nothing crazy happens, I will not be out here. I'll be in there doing the private live stream. However, I will get a video out tomorrow night, like always, for the update and prep video after market close. I appreciate y'all. Enjoy the rest of your evening, and I'll talk to y'all tomorrow. Later.